everybody. Got to refix this here. I had it adjusted height for Stratomatic, but now I need a bigger height for inside pitch to fit all these little accoutrements in place. And I think we've got it pretty much where it needs to be right now. Happy lunchtime to you if you are on your lunch break. Noticed Uncle Ron is not feeling well, so figured I would pick up the slack and provide some baseball for your lunchtime enjoyment on a Thursday. We are in Wrigley Field in Chicago. It would be the Cubs taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Bill Bonham against Pat Zachary. Zachary donned in his New York Mets attire as he is traded later in the season as part of the Tom Seaver trade. So we'll look at the starting lineups for both teams. You can see who they have here. Pretty standard lineup for the Reds, and I think it's a pretty standard lineup for the Cubs as well. This game is played April the 23rd. Reds enter the game 6-6, 2 games back of the Dodgers in the West. Chicago 6-4. They're a half game back of Montreal in the East. Here you see the benches and the bullpen as well. Hello, Scooney. Hello, Brian B. And again, Brian B., Pat Zachary in his Mets garb, not in his Reds garb, because they're too lazy to make 2 cards. I mean, how hard would that have been just to, if you didn't want to split them up, if you didn't want to split the stats and you want to do overall stats, that'd be fine. Just do an extra card with these in the Reds jersey, just so we won't have to go through this. But that's just one of my pet peeves about the game. I do love the game. It's a wonderful game. Just a couple pet peeves, that's all. And no game is perfect, as they say. But I don't think it would have cost a whole lot of money. Put it in a PDF. If you don't want to print it out in the print, I understand if you don't want to absorb, take on the cost of having to print it extra. Put it in a PDF with the freebies, and I would gladly do it. I don't have a PDF editor, so I can't do it myself. I'm not fancy like RJL. I don't have all this fancy programming and stuff to make all these changes. I kind of more simplistic and just have to do the simple things. Like, just like Leonard Skinner saying, I'm a simple kind of man. So, all right, so here is Bill Bonham taking on Pete Rose. 5-3, and that's a blank. We go to Rose. 1-5, it's ground ball to second, and Mr. Trio will take care of that. 1 away. Bonham off to it, and then, oddly enough, Bonham will end up on the Reds later in his career. Bonham, 5-4, is a walk plus. That's a 19, but that's still going to be good enough because he walks at a 12. The plus is a 22, -1. Does no effect from the stadium, so it's actually going to be a walk all the way on Ken Griffey. His attempt is a 4. Cannot get the lead. So here comes little Joe. 6-6, strikeout chance 8 is going to get him. Right on the number. The stadium doesn't change it. So Bonham strikes out Morgan. First strikeout of the game. And that will bring up George Foster. Oh, wrong die there. Strategy roll goes that way and nothing's going on. Well, actually, no, that was a 3, wasn't it? That was a 3, so that means that Griffey will get an attempt to steal if he so chooses, because we got a 3, and his attempt is actually a 4. 14 and 0 is a 0. It is a 14. Mitterwald is a -1, so that'd be a 1-13. They're going to send him. And he's in there. Stolen base for Ken Griffey. He steals second base and gets himself into scoring position for George Foster. I'm not going to worry about having him try to steal third. 2-4. That's a ballpark card going to Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field. Hitter friendly for George Foster. 5-1. Not this time. He grounds it to third, and Ontiveros will throw him out. So nothing doing for the Reds. They come away empty-handed. We go to the Bottom of the first, it is Cubs. The Reds nothing, and Cubs coming to bat. Pat Zachary on the mound for the Reds. We'll be facing Ivan DeJesus. 4-2, and that is a blank to a right-handed hitter. 2-4, and that is a power result to right field. It goes to an 11, but that's a 15, so just a deep fly to right. Griffey will put it away. So we had breakfast with demos this morning in Strat, and we've got lunch with demos here in Inside Pitch, and possibly this evening we might have dinner with demos on Strat again. California and Boston, Fenway Park. Bruce Hurst against Don Sutton. All right, here's Cardinal. 3-4, and that is a strikeout chance, and that one's definitely going to get him. So Cardinal, hello, Kenyon. So Cardinal out on strikes. Here's Bill Buckner. 5-3 is a blank to a lefty. We go to Buckner. 2-1, and that's a ground ball back to the pitcher for an easy play to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down go the Cubs. We go to the second, no score from Wrigley. Bonham back out. We'll be facing Dreesen, bench, and Concepcion for the Reds. 4-5, and that is a pitcher result. But against a lefty, it's a blank. So we treat it as a blank. Move on to Dreesen. 1-2, star 4, ground ball to Ontiveros. 1 away. Or Johnny Bench. That is correct, Brian B. 6-3, blank. But in all fairness, he does wear himself out every night. So, and probably needs the rest. 6-4, and that is a fly to left. 2 down. And that brings up Mr. Concepcion. 1-3. I still think Concepcion's a Hall of Famer. You can't tell me he's not better than Phil Rizzuto and Pee Wee Reese. I'll take him over those two any day of the week. 6-1, ground ball to second. Innings over. So we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. I mean, you think some of these guys getting in there now, like Harold Baines and Scott Rowland, are sneaking in. Those guys in the old days, boy, they really got those guys in big time. They shouldn't even be there, but they're in. I don't think I know Don Drysdale is not a Hall of Fame pitcher, but he got in there somehow. Don't know how, but he got in. But he's definitely not a Hall of Fame pitcher. All right, here's Zachary to Mercer. 3-3, and that is a blank. 1-4, fly to right. 1 away. If you're going to put Drysdale in, you have to put a Hershiser in because they're pretty much the same pitcher. They have similar stats, and Hershiser pitched in a hitter-friendly 80s where Drysdale got all the benefits of pitching in the 60s and in Dodger Stadium. Once they lowered the mound, he went away. He was gone. His 69 season was horrible, and he retired because the mound got lowered. So it took away all his advantage. Hershiser had to do it through the hitter error, and his 59 innings scoreless were legitimate, where that Drysdale got a cheap gift when they called Dick Dietz for not getting out of the way for whatever reason. So to me, that was tainted. So to me, Hershiser should be in the Hall of Fame. If you're going to put Drysdale, you got to put Hershiser. I mean, to me, they're 2 peas in the same pod. 1-1 ballpark card, Wrigley Field. 6-2, that's a star 3, and that's a fly to right field. And I know it's controversial, but if you're going to put Sandy Koufax in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Don Mattingly in the Hall of Fame, because if your argument against Mattingly not being in is he didn't have the numbers, well, Koufax doesn't have the numbers either. He had 4 or 5 good years, 4 or 5 dominant years. That's it. So if you're going to argue against Mattingly not being in the Hall because he didn't have a long enough career and put up long enough numbers, look at Koufax's career numbers. They're not very good. he got in there because he had 4 or 5 really good years. So to me, it's the same argument. If you're going to put him in, and he pitched in the pitching-rich 60s, Dodger Stadium. If you look at his record at home versus record on the road, there's a big gap there. So you talk about hitters hitting in Colorado, talk about pitchers pitching in Dodger Stadium. That's also a big advantage. 6-6 strikeout, 18 too high. 4-4, that's a power result to left. It goes to 14. That's a 7. It will be a single for Trio. I just think the Hall of Fame as a whole is a joke. They put in who they want to put in, and it's not necessarily the best people. It's just who they think they want to put in there. Strategy roll to see if there's a balk. No. All right, here's Ontiveros. 6-3, that's a range play. Go to Ontiveros. 5-1, single to short, but it's a range check on the shortstop Concepcion. He's a 4. Surprised he's not a 5, but he is a 4. And he makes the play, no problem. Ends the inning. We go to the third. No score from Chicago. Yeah, and I'm in one of those opinionated moods today for whatever reason. So I'm liable to say anything. You don't have to agree with it. We all have opinions. That's the beauty of the whole thing, is we get to have our opinion. Here's Geronimo. 3-4, and that's a blank. Go to Geronimo. 1-1, star 3 is a ground ball to third. Ontiveros, his third assist of the game. Here's Pat Zachary, a 141 hitter. 5-5 strikeout. He's out of there. Second strikeout for Bonham. Takes it back to Pete Rose. Yep, Tommy John is no. I mean, the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame says it all. I mean, to me, if Tommy John's not in the Hall of Fame, I don't know who is. I mean, that with all the stuff he did. Not even talking about the surgery. I'm just talking about his longevity and his numbers. Very similar to Jim Cott and some others. 2-1, and that is a range play. Go to Pete Rose. 5-1, and they got the ground ball to short, but again, we're checking the range, this time with the Jesus, and his range is a 5. I don't know how his range is better than Concepcion, but apparently that's what they're rating it. And it's a 6, so it got by him just as well. Probably deserved that. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. So Pete Rose, attempt of 3. Yes, Joel, he did dominate, but only for about 4 years was his domination. So it wasn't like he was dominant his whole career. 6-1 is a blank. I can argue Mattingly dominated just as much in his 4 or 5 years of MVP type hitting. 1-2, star 3 is a ground ball to third. You may say it's apples and oranges, but that's just, we have to differ on opinion on that. Here is Mitterwald to lead off. That's the beauty of baseball. You got your own opinions. You can make your own arguments, and nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just an opinion. 1-5 is a walk chance, and that will walk Mitterwald to start the inning. No attempt for Mitterwald. Nothing on that. So Bonham's going to bunt. His bunt is a 3. Corners are in. It becomes a 2. So we're going to roll and see if there's a strikeout. 4-6. No, it's a blank. So it's a 2. So go to our bunt chart. He's rated as a 2. Fielded by the first baseman, Dan Dreesen. And he's a 2. So 1 to 10 is a good bunt. Anything higher than that's questionable. That's a 3. It's a good bunt. So good bunt for Bonham. It'll just go 3 unassisted. 1 away, and Mitterwald is now at second base. Yeah, Munson, I'm not so keen on being in the Hall of Fame. I just don't know if he has. I mean, he was a good catcher, but I don't know. I think there's some sentiment because he died earlier or whatever, but I haven't really looked at his numbers. I know he's a good catcher for sure. As RJL would say, Hall of Very Good. But was he as good as somebody like Fisk? I don't know. I mean, they were kind of almost hand in hand there, but then Fisk went on to have, much more of a career. Of course, do you penalize Munson because he died? That's the only, it's up in the air. It's hard to say. They're definitely borderline candidates, that's for sure. Could go either way. And Munson may end up getting in on the Veterans Committee. You never know. 1-3 is a range play. We go to DeJesus for a range play. 4-1 is a double to center, but we're checking the range, and that range is Geronimo, who's only a 4, not a 5. But he makes the catch anyway. So Geronimo ranges to get it, saves a potential run right there. Well, definitely saved a run for sure because Mitterwald was on second. He would have scored automatically. Yeah, that's true, Kenny. I mean, he was a good defensive catcher. So for catchers, you have to look at their defense as well. But, I mean, I just think he was a good player. When I saw Munson, he was a good player. And now whether I considered him a Hall of Famer, I never really thought about it. But the reason he had less than 1,600 hits is because he died. He didn't have a chance to get those extra hits later in his career. But like I said, do you penalize him for dying? Do you take his numbers and extrapolate them out and see what he would have done? I mean, it's a total crapshoot. All right, here is Zachary to Cardinal. 6-4, range play at the park. Going to Wrigley Field for a range play. 2-2, and that's his power result to right field. That's a 14. That's a deep fly to right, but we're checking the range of Griffey. His range is a 3. And he can't get it. It's going to be a base hit to right field. Mitterwald. Let's see. Griffey's got a +1 arm. Mitterwald runs at a 2. +1 makes him a 3. 2 outs makes him a 4. Single from score from second on a single to right field. You add 1, and that makes him a 5. So 1-5, and Mitterwald will score. And it's a 6, so he possibly could be out. Let's go over here. +1 arm, a 1-2. We go to this third category. 3-6, he holds. That's a 5. He's going to hold. So Mitterwald has to hold. He does not score on the base hit. Does not score. Runners on the corners. Yeah, you wonder if there's Yankee bias in that. I don't know. But just like to me, Curt Schilling. How in the heck is Curt Schilling not in the Hall of Fame? Whether you like his politics or don't like his politics, that has nothing to do with his ability to play. And as far as I know, he was never accused of being on any PEDs, but he certainly has the numbers. I mean, and the postseason lore. I mean, I just don't get how Curt Schilling's not in the Hall of Fame. It just boggles my mind. Same with Jeff Kent. He should be in the Hall of Fame too with the numbers he has. But I digress. Forgot what I was doing now. Oh, Cardinal singles. So we're going to see if he can get the lead. Needs a 2. Doesn't get it. Here's Buckner. Zachary to Buckner. 1-6. That's a blank. Whoops. We're going to go to Buckner. 1-3, and that's against a right-hander. That's a double to center field for Billy Buck. That's going to score Mitterwald. It might score Cardinal as well. Cardinal runs at a 3. There are 2 outs, makes him a 4. The double to center, though, brings it back to a 3. Geronimo is a -1 arm, makes it a 2. So 1-2, he scores. He does not. He's got a hold at third base. So an RBI double for Bill Buckner. And that brings up Bobby Mercer. Mercer flew to right his first chance. 5-3, and that's a blank. We go to Mercer. 6-4, and lines it hard, but right to Morgan. And after all said and done and all the damage that was done, the Cubs only get a run. Can't get 2 runs, only get 1. So we go to the third. I'm sorry, to the fourth, and it's 1-0 Cubbies. That will bring up Little Joe. 3-2, and that is a range play. 3-4, that's a liner to short. The range of Concepcion, though, is a 4. And he is able to make the catch. Whoops, wrong side. No, I'm sorry. It was to Jesus. He's a 5, and he's able to make the catch. My bad. So De Jesus makes the snag. 1 down, and here is Foster. 2-5 is a blank. We go to Foster. 1-1, pops it up to short, and De Jesus is on top of it again. Here's Mr. Dreesen. 5-4 is a walk plus. And with the 20, that'll get him to walk, because that's a 21. -1's a 20, but that's a 20, so it fits for Mr. Dreesen to draw the 2-out walk. His attempt is a 6. Cannot get the lead. Here's Johnny Bench. Nobody's going to question his Hall of Fame credentials, that's for sure. 5-4 is another walk plus, and back-to-back walks issued by Bonham. And that will bring up Concepcion. 4-4, and that is a home run question mark. 1-9, but it fails. So Concepcion cannot get a chance at a homer, but he will swing. 1-6, grounded to third. That's going to end the inning. So the Reds leave 2 on, come away empty-handed. Still 1-0 Cubbies. As we go to the bottom of the fourth, it will be Morales, Trio, and Ontiveros due up for the Cubbies. Two, and that is a ballpark card. Two-1, and that is a single to center field. Morales cannot go anywhere. We'll check for a balk, possibly on Zachary, but there's no balk. Here's Trio. 3-6, that's a possible error on a ground ball. 3-2, that's a ground ball to third. We're checking Pete Rose's error rating, which is a 9. And that's an 18, so it will not be an error. Now we're checking for a double play. 2 + 1's a 3. Halfway is a 4. Pivot at second, Morgan is a +1. It's a 1-5 for a double play. And they go around the horn 5-4-3 on the double play. A nice turn there by Morgan after Pete dug that out. 2 down, base is clear for Ontiveros. 4-6, and that's a blank. And Ontiveros. 5-1, single to short. 2-out single. Ontiveros cannot go anywhere. And Mitterwald, the batter. Mitterwald walked and scored first time up. 2-6 is a blank. We go to Mitterwald. 5-2 is a fly to right. Hauled in out there by Griffey, and the inning's over. So 4 innings are in the books, and it's still 1-0 Cubbies. Next game in this replay, we will be north of the border in Montreal. It'll be the Giants and the Expos. I believe the pitching matchup is Jim Barr against Don Stanhouse. I believe that's what it is. Yep, here it is right here. Actually got the blank score sheet. So that will be the next game on the 24th. Will be the San Francisco-Montreal game. Barr against Stanhouse. Don't know what day that'll be, but it's whenever I play inside pitch again. Here's Geronimo. 3-1. That's a range play at the park, going to Wrigley Field. That's a leaner. I'm going to re-roll that. They have to be flat. 3-6. That's a home run to the pole side. That's a 12. He doesn't have a 12. He's got a 5. So, I'm sorry. No, it fits this category here. I think the first number you check is here. Home run to the pole side at 12. No, that's if you're checking if the ballpark. My bad. That's on the power result. Home run to the pole side, you go right here. He's a 5. That's a 12. He's out of range. So, there's no home run. So, that means it's a range play in right field because he's a pull hitter. So it is a range play for the right fielder, Bobby Mercer. His range is only a 2. But he makes the play. So how about that? Bobby Mercer saves a double, basically. By rule, that would have been a double. There's one out, and here's Zachary. 3-4 is a blank. We go to Zachary. 5-4 is a straight-up strikeout. Strikeout number 3. That brings up Pete. 5-3 is a blank. We go to Rose. 2-5, ground ball to second. Trio is there. And the wind must be blowing in at Wrigley because the pitching is dominating. 1-0 Cubbies. As we go to the bottom of the 5th. And the pitcher, Bonham, will lead off. He had a sacrifice hit his first time up that came up to be very important in scoring a run. 4-2 is going to be a blank to a right-handed hitter. Go to Bonham. 3-1, ground ball to Morgan. 1 away for DeJesus. 1-1 is a ballpark card going right back to Wrigley Field for DeJesus. 5-4, and that's a star 2, which will be a fly to center. Geronimo is there, 2 down for Cardinal. 4-6, blank. Cardinal, 1-4, and that is a fly to center again. So an easy 1-2-3 inning for Zachary. We've completed 5, and it's still a 1-0 ball game. Bonham will be facing Griffey, Morgan, and Foster, heart of the order. Hello, midlife. Yeah, you got to believe that. And dinner. Don't forget dinner. We got lunch. We had breakfast and lunch. Now we're going to do dinner later on with Strat. So 5-3 is a blank. Griffey. 5-6. That's a power result to center field. It goes up to 12. That's a 5. It'll be a single for Ken Griffey. And he already stole 1 base. He's looking possibly to steal again. 14. I'm sorry, attempt is a 4. He will not get the lead to do it this time. Here's Morgan. 2-4. That's a ballpark card. Going back to Wrigley Field for Joe Morgan. 6-5 is a single to center field, to shortstop rather, not center field. To shortstop, Griffey will hold, I believe. Let me see. Can he get to third? He needs a 5 to get to third. He does not have it. He's only a 3 as far as his running rating. So he will stop at second base. But first and second, nobody out to start the 6th inning. And maybe this is the... Yes, you got that right, midlife. You got it right. All right, so Foster looking to do some damage. This is a kind of situation where normally you would think about bunting, but you're not going to bunt with George Foster. 4-1, and that's why you don't do it. Straight up home run, and that's gone. George Foster, a 3-run bomb. Foster, Australian for home run. We don't need no stinking bunt. 4-1's a home run to right-handers, and he's a 20. So that is gone. George Foster, a 3-run home run. And the Reds take a 3-1 lead. Wind must have died down in Wrigley briefly to allow that to happen, but it's a 3-run lead. And now here's Dreesen. 1-1 blank on a wild pitch because nobody's on base. Dreesen 3-5. That's a double to left, so they're starting to get to Bonham. 3rd time through the order. Cubs may need to consider bullpen activity. In fact, they are. Right-hander Steve Rinko loosening in the bullpen just in case. Johnny Bench, the batter. Still nobody out. 3 runs are in, runner at second. 4-3, and that is a blank to a righty. Go to Bench. 3-6, that's a single pass short. Dreesen to score from second on an S6. You need a 3 or better. He is a 3, so he will score. 4-0 Reds, 4-1 Reds now in the lead, as they are just taking it to Mr. Bonham. Nothing on the strategy roll. Here's Concepcion. Still nobody out. 2-6 strikeout. 14's too much. 2-3, and that's a single to left. So the hit parade continues. Still no, but they're going to almost assuredly bat around unless we get a double play in there somewhere. And here's Geronimo. Two-two, and that's a possible error on a ground ball. 6-4, that is a double to left field. So again, more hitting. They're just pounding Bonham. The double will score bench to make it 5-1. Concepcion runs at a 4 to score from first on a double. You lose one, makes him a 3. Left fielder arm is Cardinal. He's a +1, brings it back to a 4. So 1-4, Concepcion will come across the plate. And he does. So it's a 2-run double by Cesar Geronimo. And how about that? It is now 6 runs in the inning. It's 6-1. And Zachary is your batter. Bonham. He is actually tired. So we're going to take Bonham out. Bonham is going to come out because he is tired. And they will bring in Steve Rinko in his Cubs garb, or his White Sox garb, to pitch. Steve Rinko. He will be coming in. And boy, Bonham pitched 5 solid, then the 6th inning showed up. 5+. He's going to give up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. 8 hits, but 7 of them came in the 6th inning. He's given up 6 runs, but he is responsible for Geronimo. He gave up the 1 long ball. He walked 3. He walked 3, and he struck out 3. But a very, very poor outing, obviously. And now Zachary is up. Okay, I think we're back. Had to do a little quick reboot there. Thank you, Xfinity, for that. Hopefully we're back now. Last thing that happened was Pete Rose struck out. Ken Griffey on the bat around is going to bat for the 2nd time. And see what he does here against Rinko. Geronimo's at second, 2 outs. 20, but nothing on the card for Rinko. 1-1 ballpark card going back to Wrigley Field. 2-3 is a star 1. That's a fly to center. Griffey is out to end the inning, but a 6-pack for the Reds. We close the book on Bonham. 6 runs all earned. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Reds now seemingly in command, 6-1. Bill Buckner will lead it off for the Cubbies. 3-5 is a hit by pitch. 17, way too high for that. Billy Buck, 2-4. That's a single to center, to pass the shortstop, rather. He's now 2 for 3 is Billy Buck. Strategy rolls are off since it's a 5-run deficit. So we go to Mercer. 1-2 is a blank. We go to Mercer's card. 6-6, fly to right field, 1 away. The game does go by a little bit faster when you don't do the strategy rolls, that's for sure. Here's Morales. 5-5, strikeout 19, too much. Let's go to Morales. 4-5, and that's a single to right field. Buckner runs at a 3. Single to right. You add 2 to get to third base. That makes him a 5. Griffey's a +1, makes him a 6, so he will get there without a throw. So runners are on the corners with 1 out, and Manny Trio, the batter, he hit into a double play his last time up, and the Reds are looking to turn the same exact deal. 6-5, strikeout. 9 does not get him. He's only an 8. For the Trio. 5-4, that's a star 3, which is a fly to right field. Is it a sacrifice fly? Buckner runs at the sacrifice fly rating is a 3 for Trio. Not going to make it there. Buckner runs at a 3. The arm of Griffey is a +1, so 1-4, he will make it. And he does. Sacrifice fly from Manny Trio will score Buckner to cut the lead to 6-2. Now they're 2 away for Ontiveros. 1-2 is a blank. We go to Ontiveros. 6-5, fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. Cubs get a run, but that's it. We go to the top of the 7th. Still 6-2 Reds. Rinko will be facing Morgan to start things off. 6-2 here in the top of the 7th. 6-5, ballpark card going back to Wrigley Field again. Been there a lot. 4-2, that's a fly to right field. Boy, 4-1 would have been a home run chance, and it would have been a home run. 4-2 is a fly to right field. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, that doesn't matter. 1 away, and here's Foster. Speaking of home runs, his 3-run homer really got the Reds cooking in the 6th. 5-4 is a range play. Going to Foster for the range. 2-3 is a single to first, but we're checking the range of Buckner. His range is only a 1. And he gets to it. How about that? He's going to flip to Rinko covering for the out. Took away a hit from Foster. Not too happy about it as Foster. He's claiming something was rigged. 4-4 is a blank. We go to Dreesen. 6-3, and it's a pop-up to second, and that will end the inning. So Rinko does his job. He will leave for a pinch hitter, but he did his job. He goes 2 innings. And let's see how many hits he gave up. He gave up nothing. He faced 5 batters, got them all out, or 6 batters, got them all out, and he did record a strikeout at the same time. So we go to the bottom of the 7th, score 6-2 in favor of the Reds. Cubs will need a new pitcher in the top of the 8th. Looks like they're going to go to Paul Russell. He will be coming on to pitch in the top of the 8th inning. But right now we are at the 7th inning stretch. And of course, as usual, that means take me out to the ball game. So I invite you to stretch with me as we go take me out to the ball game. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. Reminder that on Saturday, we're back to season ticket baseball for the NBC game of the week. And it'll be coming to us from Chicago, but the other side of Chicago will be at not Wrigley Field, will be at Comiskey Park for the Kansas City Royals to take on the Chicago White Sox. That's 1978 NBC game of the week. Royals at the White Sox. That will be on Saturday at noon or sometime close to noon as I can get it, depending on what life brings me. But the plan is for noon, but sometimes plans change. So we're ready to go. Zachary can face 27 batters. He's faced 25. So he's still okay, although the bullpen is about ready to get going here. Brian B., I don't know if you want Eastwick or Murray or Bourbon or Alcala or Caldwell. They got your choice there, who you want to come in when it's time to replace Zachary. Zachary does bat fourth next inning, so if you get him through this inning, you can have him pinch hit for and avoid a double switch. But 6-2, it may not matter. I mean, it's pretty sizable lead so far. Bourbon, all right, Pedro Bourbon is loosening in the Reds bullpen. Pedro Bourbon is loosening. Just in case Zachary falters. We need a pinch hitter for the Cubs after George Middlewald hits, and it'll be Greg Gross. So Greg Gross will pinch hit after Middlewald. It'll be Middlewald, Gross, and DeJesus here in the bottom of the seventh inning of a 6-2 ball game. Hello, Philip. Good to see you again. 6-2 Reds, bottom of the seventh. Zachary to Middlewald. 1-6, strikeout chance, but 16 is too much. We go to Middlewald. 4-1, it's a fly to center, one away. And now the pinch hitter, Greg Gross, a .322 hitter on the season. 6-5, strikeout 10, too high. Yes, via screenshot. Absolutely. 2-6, and that's a single to center field for Gross. He singles. Pinch hit single. And the beauty of the screenshot is it can be reproduced, you know. So this was from earlier today where Tabby was sitting right. Let me get that ring light out of here. Let's turn that off real quick. There we go. So Tabby was sitting there with me while we were playing, and you can see the inside pitch box right there. So and this little part here is, oops, that little part there is the perch she used to sit on, and right there you can see my Strat Super Advanced sheet. So everything's right close. So she was right there with me. She's not in here right now. She's down the hall, but this morning she was attentive. All right, so now Zachary is tired. Yes, she's coming upstairs a lot. She's upstairs a lot now. She's actually came into this room, which is a big, major victory compared to what it used to be. Zachary is tired, Brian B. We can keep going with Zachary because he's got a 6-2 lead and see if he can get him through the inning. Or we can double switch with Bourbon right now or see what he does against DeJesus, however you want to play it. I'm game either way. Let him pitch. That's what I would have done too. So, all right, strategy rolls again are still off. Zachary 6-6, strikeout 9, and he got him because that is a 9. So he struck him out. 2 down for Zachary. That is only his second strikeout of the game. He's just not really a strikeout pitcher. Only 99 Ks in 194 innings. So he got Cardinal in the first, and now he gets DeJesus here in the seventh. And here's Cardinal. 4-5, that's a wild pitch chance. 3 is going to be missing, so that's a blank. We go to Cardinal. 6-2 is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So I'm presuming that's going to do it for Zachary in this ball game. He's going to go 7 innings, allow 2 runs. Both earned. And let's see how many hits he gave up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits I've got him for. And let's see, he walked just Mitterwald. That's the only walk I see is Mitterwald. And he struck out, like I said, just the 2. So Pedro Bourbon will be the next one in line for the Reds when the time comes. Right now, it is Paul Russell time. He's on to face bench, Concepcion, and Geronimo. If anybody gets on, a pinch hitter for Zachary. Could always do a double switch if we don't get to that point. Okay, you want Caldwell to pitch the first 2 batters the next inning because of Buckner and Mercer, okay? So Caldwell is also loosening in the bullpen in his Milwaukee garb. He will be coming in before Bourbon does, according to manager Brian B. So Johnny Bench will lead things off here against Russell here in the top of the 8th of a 6-2 ball game. 4-3, and that's an automatic out on Johnny Bench. And that will be a ground ball to Ontiveros at third base, 1 away. Here's Concepcion. Russell, 4-2. It's a strikeout. 15 is too much. 1-3 is a star 3, which is a ground ball to third again. Boy, they're giving Ontiveros a workout over there at third base. Here's Geronimo. 1-for-3 with a double. 4-6 is a blank. We go to Geronimo. 5-1 is a star 4, ground ball to third. All 3 outs were ground balls to Ontiveros. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, score still 6-2. Now, do you want to, I'm assuming if you're just going to let Caldwell pitch to the 2, I don't know if you want to mess around with a double switch or not. It's kind of hard to take anybody out there defensively except for Rose, but he's going to bat second inning, so it doesn't really make any difference to do or make sense to do a double switch there. I'm assuming with the 6-2 lead, you're just going to have Caldwell pitch and not do any kind of double switch. I'm just trying to guess here. So I put Bourbon in there prematurely. That's what I get for being premature. It's actually Caldwell. So they're going to try to see if Caldwell can pitch the 8th inning completely and then pinch hit for him in the 9th. All right, so Caldwell would be facing Buckner, Mercer, and Morales. So it is Caldwell, the only lefty in the bullpen who is used. Five, 4 is a blank. Go to Buckner. 6-4, it's a ground ball to first. Dreesen takes it, 1 away. Here's Bobby Mercer. 1-3 is another blank. We go to Mercer. 2-3, and that's a fly to right field. Mercer has flown to right 3 times. So 2 down, bases empty, and since Caldwell is hot, leave him in there against Morales. 1-3 is another blank. He's letting the batters get their own selves out on their own cards. 4-6, and he does it again with a fly to right. So a 1-2-3 inning for Mike Caldwell. And we go to the top of the 9th. I'm assuming that's it for Caldwell. And we'll see Bourbon in the 9th. And now the Reds have a pitcher spot due up. A pinch hitter for the Reds. I know he usually likes to do Knight, but it could be Armbrister. And he is picking Armbrister this time. So Ed Armbrister will get the pinch hitting call. I won't write Bourbon in there just yet in case the Reds score a couple of runs and you want to bring in a schlub instead. So I'll hold off on that for now. Right now, it's going to be Armbrister, the pinch hitter, followed by Rose and Griffey. 6-3 is a pitcher result. Armbrister's a righty. A 1-8's an out. That's a 2. He is out of there. So the out will be recorded with the ground ball to first. 1 away. Armbrister is retired. Here is Pete Rose. And I'm assuming you want to bring in Ray Knight to play defense for Rose. I don't know. Usually that's the call I get. 5-1. Home run question mark 1 to 14, it fails, so Rose cannot get the home run. 3-2, and that's a star 1. Ground ball to second, 2 down. And that'll send up Griffey. 2-1, blank. We go to Griffey. 3-4, that's a single past second. So 2-out single for Griffey. Of course, strategy roll's not in place because of the score, so we roll on. Here's Morgan. 5-2, and that's a range play. We're going to Morgan's card for the range play. 3-3, it's a fly to right. We're checking the range of right field, which is Mercer. And that's going to fail. Single or double. It's going to be a single to right field for Morgan. Griffey almost certainly will take third. He runs at a 3. Single to right, you gain 2, makes him a 5. 2 outs makes him a 6. Mercer 0 arms, so he makes second base automatically, or third base automatically. And now Russell is tired. So the Cubs have a decision. Do they want to go to somebody else? You really don't want to burn Bruce Sutter in a game like this. So they're going to see if Russell can get that last out. He is fatigued, though, so that's something to keep an eye on. 3-5, and that is a strikeout chance. 20 is too high. We go to Foster. 6-4, single to center, so that's going to be an insurance run for the Reds. Insurance run for the Reds. Morgan runs at a 3. Becomes a 4 with 2 outs. Single to center to get to third. You lose 1, makes him a 3 again. Center fielder arm, Morales is a +1, brings him to a 4. So 1 to 4, he makes third base. He does not. He has to hold. So Morgan will hold at second base. And now with Dan Dreesen coming up, the Cubs will go to the bullpen and go to Willie Hernandez. Or Guillermo, don't call me Willie Hernandez. He will come in for the Cubbies to try to get this final out against Dreesen. Russell's going to go 1 2/3 innings. He's going to give up 3 hits and so far 1 run. No walks or strikeouts to worry about. It's now an 8-2 ball game. Dreesen is your batter against Willie Hernandez. 2-1, strikeout 5, got him. So Hernandez pitches a third of an inning, gets a strikeout, nothing else. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. And the Cubbies have their work cut out for them. Cubbies have their work cut out for them. All right, Brian B., with the score being 8-2, did you want to switch off and do Alcala, or did you want to stay with Bourbon? And I know you want to bring in Knight, but do you want to double switch? Not that that would matter. It's only one position in the batting order. Probably not going to make a difference, especially with the score being what it is. Well, you could bring in Doug Flynn in his Mets outfit. That'd be popular too, I bet. So Ray Knight's going to take over at third base for Pete Rose. Oh, Alcala. Okay, I'm going to go with Alcala in his Expos outfit. So that's what they will do. Ray Knight's going to come in and play third base for Rose. He is a 3 and an E14 versus Rose's 1 and 9. So Ray Knight is going to come in and bat leadoff in place of Rose, who is now out of the game. And Santo, I guess it's Alcala. Is how you pronounce that? I'm not sure. Caldwell went 1 inning, gave up nothing. Oh, it was Alcala or Alcala? Alcala. Okay, so it's Alcala? Like alkaline? Maybe that's how it's pronounced. I'll go with Alcala, if that's what you're telling me. We'll go with Alcala. It'll be Trio, Ontiveros, and Mitterwald, and a pinch hitter for Hernandez if we get that far. So Alcala will be pitching to Trio. 3-3, and that is a range play. Going to trio for the range. 2-2, and that's a ground ball to second. We're checking Morgan. His range is only a 2. And he cannot get it. Base hit. Failed range play. Brings up Ontiveros. 5-3, and a righty. He's a switch hitter, though, batting left, so that's not going to be an automatic out. That's going to be a blank. Okay, I think we're back. I think. Somebody can verify that for me, but I think we're back. Looks like we're back. I don't see any more circles. So, unfortunately, I had to do another reboot again. Now, I don't know what the last thing everybody saw was. I brought in Gene Kleins to pinch hit for the pitcher, and he hit a double that scored. It was a single plus off the ballpark card, but he got the roll to make it a double, scoring Ontiveros and moving Bittner to third. So 2 runs are in, and now it's 8-4. Second and third, nobody out. So I'm assuming at this point you might want to switch over to Bourbon, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, so you let me know what you would prefer to do at this point. If you want to stick with Alcala, we'll do it. If you want to switch over to Bourbon, we can do that too. You let me know. Bourbon it is. Okay, so Alcala didn't get anybody out. Faced 4 batters, got no one out, gave up 4 hits. So far, 2 runs. And these 2 guys are his responsibility. So now Bourbon looking to wrap things. It's now actually a save situation because 8-4, 8-5, 8-6, batter 8-7, on decks 8-8. So this is actually a save situation for Bourbon. Infield is back with nobody out. They need outs. Here's DeJesus. 4-3 is a blank. We go to DeJesus. 5-2 is a ground ball to third. Bittner runs. Let's get Bittner back out. Bittner runs at a 3, so he's safe on a 1-3 or a 6. So we're going to send him. Brian, I'm assuming you'll take the out at first, but did you want to try to get a roll of 4 or 5 to get the guy at home, or do you want to let him score and get the out at the shore out at ace? I'm assuming that's what you would do, but you tell me. It was grounded tonight at third base. So I'm assuming we're going to go out at first base. All right, 5-3 ground out scoring is Bittner. The only way Kleins makes it to third is on a 6. And he has to hold at second base. So run is in. It's now 8-5. And Jose Cardinal is your batter. Cardinal. Tying run is still on deck. So tying run has not come up yet. 5-2 is the ballpark card going to Wrigley Field for Cardinal. 1-5, it's a single to right field. So Cardinal singles. We'll see if that will score Kleins. Kleins runs at a 4. Single to right field. You add 1, makes him a 5. And then single to right. Yeah, you add 1, makes him a 5. Griffey's a +1, makes him a 6. So he scores automatically. 4 runs are in. It's now 8-6 in favor of the Reds, but the Cubs are coming right back. Still only 1 out. Cardinal at first. Bill Buckner, the tying run, is at the plate. Bourbon, the best they have. He is their closer. So really not anybody else to go to other than him that I can think of. Bourbon, 3-2. That's a range play. Going to Buckner. 6-6 is a star 2. Fly ball to right field. We're checking the range of Griffey, who's a 3. And he cannot get it. Is it a single or a double? It'll be a single for Griffey. Cardinal, once again, he's a 3. 2 outs. It was not 2 outs. 3 going to right field makes him a 4. +1 from Griffey. I'm sorry, makes him a 5 because it's a +2. And then Griffey's a +1, so automatically he will get third base. And now the Reds are just imploding here. They are definitely imploding. Don't know if the circles in the sand got to him or what, but it's now an 8-6 game, and the tying runs are on base. Still only one out for Bobby Mercer. 1-1's a blank. Here comes Mercer. 6-1, power result to center field. That's an 18, so it will be a deep fly to center field. Sacrifice fly rating is a 3. So it will be a sacrifice fly for Mercer. The run is in. That's 4 runs in the inning. Makes it 5 runs in the inning. Makes it 8-7 now. 8-7 with the tying run at first base and Bill Buckner. Buckner runs at a 3. I don't know if they have anybody on the bench faster that we could go to. Kelleher's a 3, Swisher 1, Rosello's a 3. Nope, the best they have. So Buckner's fast as anybody else, which is a sad case for the Cubs bench. But now it's 8-7 as 5 runs have come in the 9th inning. Talk about 9th inning magic. You're seeing it right here. And Jerry Morales, the 9th man to bat in the inning against Pedro Bourbon. Strategy rolls are now back on because it's a 1-run game. Nothing happening here. Bourbon to Morales. 2 outs and the tying run at first base. 2-2, that's a blank. We go to Morales. 2-1, fly to left field, and the game is finally over. The Reds hang on for dear life and win it by the score of 8-7, despite a 5-run 9th inning. So if we look at the runs, 4 runs are charged to Alcala. 1 run is charged to Bourbon. Bourbon goes 1 inning, gives up 2 hits and a run. He does get a save, no walks, no strikeouts. So the save to Bourbon, the win goes to Zachary, and the loss is hung on Bill Bonham. Reds improved to 7-6. Cubs dropped to 6-5. Get the totals for the Reds. 7 runs. Wait a minute, that was a tie game, wasn't it? 7-7 is a tie game. What am I doing? Why did I say the Reds had 8? They only had 7. We got a tie game here, folks. I was premature on that. I didn't even catch it was a 7-2 game, and they got 5 runs, so it's a 7-7 game. So it's actually a tie game. I don't know where I got the 8 from for the Reds. I kept saying the Reds had 8, but they don't. They only had 7. So it is a tie game. We are going to extra innings here in Chicago. And the Cubs will need a new pitcher, and it's going to be Bruce Sutter. No question about it. It's going to be Bruce Sutter. So apologize for that snafu. I think the Reds had won when it's a tie game. Bruce Sutter will be coming on. And the last out was made by Morales, so there might be a double switch coming up, possibly, because Sutter's going to come up to bat before I want him to. So who do we go to here? Rosello could play short, but not very well. Wallace could play center, but not very well. But they're going to bring him in anyway on a double switch. So Joe Wallace is going to come in and play center field and bat 9th for the Cubbies, even though he's only a 1-E4. And Bruce Sutter will bat in the number 5 position since Morales made the final out. So Sutter will be in there. And so I've got to correct this here. I need to correct Bourbon's save total because he did not get the save. He blew the save. We got a 7-7 game. Sorry about that, Brian B. I got confused somehow or another. Don't know how that happened, but it did. So we're going to Sutter here in the 10th inning, facing bench Concepcion and Geronimo. So Wallace will bat in the number 9 position. Morales is now out of the game, and Sutter will be in his spot. So we got Johnny Bench leading off the 10th here against Bruce Sutter in a 7-7 ball game. I don't know how I missed that. thinking that the Reds had 8 runs. I'm not sure where I was getting with that from, but if you clearly look at the thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs for the Reds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runs for the Cubs. So 7-7 is the score. That would have been a big protest had I given the win to the Reds. All right, here's Suter to bench. 4-4, strikeout 11. Struck him out. Of course, Brian B is going to now say rigged, but we can't help that. Here's Concepcion. 2-3, and that's a walk chance. 15 too high. Go to Concepcion. 4-6, and that's a star 2. Ground ball to Ontiveros again. He's been busy. 2 down for Geronimo. 1-3 is a strikeout. 1 got him. So we go to the bottom of the 10th. Cubs with a chance to win it here against Pedro Borbon. Bottom of the 10th. It's going to be Trio, Ontiveros, and I forgot to put in the new catcher, didn't I? Defensively, it should have been Steve Swisher. I forgot to mention that. Swisher is the catcher. Came in to replace Bittner, who pinch hit for Mitterwald. So it will be Swisher. It'll be Trio, Ontiveros, and Swisher. Those are the scheduled hitters. Followed by Wallace, who's batting 9th on the double switch. So Trio will lead things off. I think Brian B got befuddled. He's gotten quiet, thinking they had a win when they didn't. I thought they had a win, but they didn't. 5-run, 9th inning. Talk about 9th inning magic. There you go. 9th inning magic at its best. Borbon, 6-6 possible error on Trio's card. 4-6 is a fly to center. No error there with an 11. Geronimo's only a 2 error rating, so he will make the catch. 1 down for Ontiveros. Borbon, 3-4, blank on a wild pitch with nobody on base. So we go to Ontiveros. 3-5, and that is going to be a ground ball to second. 2 down for Swisher, his first at bat. Can't pitch in for him with nobody else to catch. 6-4, strikeout, 16, got him. So Borbon's actually going to pitch 2 innings and give up the same amount of runs and whatnot. And now he's scheduled to lead off, so I'm assuming we're going to pinch hit for Borbon here in the 11th. One would think. So we've already used Knight. So Suter. And the question is, who is the pinch hitter going to be? You see the list there. You got Lum, Summers, Bailey, Flynn. Flynn to pinch hit, Eastwick to pitch. All right. So let's get Flynn's card. And Flynn in his Mets garb will pinch hit as a 197 hitter. And we will turn in the bottom of the inning. It will all be turned over to, where'd you go? Got to be in here somewhere. Why am I missing? Is he covered up here? I think he's covered up here by Zachary. One moment. Oh, there he is. Raleigh Eastwick got covered up by Pat Zachary. So Raleigh Eastwick will come in the bottom of the 11th. That'll be Eastwick. And that will leave Murray as the only pitcher remaining. Cubs only have Jim Todd remaining. So Flynn is going to be the pinch hitter that leads things off here in the top of the 11th against Bruce Suter. 4-1. That's a blank to a righty. 5-4, and he's going to line it to first base. So snagged over there by Buckner. 1 away. Back to the top of the order now, Ray Knight for his first at bat. 4-4 is a strikeout, 3, got him. 2 down for Ken Griffey. 6-1, strikeout 2, got him. We go to the bottom of the 11th. And Raleigh Eastwick will be making his way in from the bullpen. It will be Eastwick getting the call. And he'll be facing Wallace, who came in on the double switch. And then DeJesus and Cardinal. Joe Wallace, a 250 hitter. Eastwick, 2-6, strikeout 1, got him. Eastwick puts the K on Wallace. Here's Ivan DeJesus, 2-1, blank. We go to DeJesus. 4-2, that's a pop-up to short. But we're getting more baseball than we bargained for here. 2 down, bases empty for Cardinal. Might be a game of attrition here at the end. 2-5 is the ballpark card going to Wrigley Field for Cardinal. 4-2 is going to be a fly to right field, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Reds. I'm sorry, for the Cubs. We go to the top of the 12th. This will be Suter's last inning. Suter has faced 7 batters. I'm sorry, he's faced 6 batters. He can face 7, so he will be tired, but he is not. He is going to bat third this next inning, so they're going to try to get him through this inning and hope to avoid those apostrophe or those parentheses to keep him in the game. So here's Morgan to start the top of the 12th. 6-5. That's a strikeout plus to the lefty, so he's going to strike out Morgan to start the 12th. Now he is tired. Anything in parentheses, he's going to have to come out of the game. 4-2. 3-2 would have been that same roll, but 4-2 is a strikeout, 22 high. Go to Foster. 1-1 pops it to short, 2 down. And that'll bring up Danny Dreesen. 4-1. That's a walk chance to Dreesen. That's a 19, so that's too much. Dreesen. 5-6, going to ground it to second, and that's going to do it for Suter. Suter will go 2 innings. Oops, put a 2 there. What I was doing. Suter will go 2 innings in relief, and he will be lifted for a pinch hitter. He's going to strike out 5 in those 2 innings, giving up nothing. And Jim Todd will have to come in if it gets to that. Eastwick will be facing Buckner, Mercer, and a pinch hitter for Suter. All right, so Flynn was used there. Buckner, Mercer, and a pinch hitter for Suter. So it's either going to be Kelleher or Rosello. It's the only 2 they have left on the bench. And we're going with Mick Kelleher. So Mick Kelleher will do the pinch hitting for the Cubbies. That will leave Rosello as the only bench player. So it'll be Buckner. Oops. It'll be Buckner, Mercer, and Kelleher. Bottom of the 12th. No 7-7 ball game. 4-4 is a blank. I'm sorry, it's a range play. I was looking at 3-4. 4-4 is a range play. Buckner. 1-2 is a star 6. Fly to right. We're checking the range of Griffey. He's a 3. And he can't get it. Single or a double. That's a single. Leadoff single for Buckner. And Buckner is 4 for 6 in this game. Maybe getting the karma from the thumbnail. And he's aboard. His attempt is a 1. So no attempt. Mercer, not much of a bunter, so they're going to shoot the bunt and just swing away. 5-3, and he's not tired, so there's no single there. Go to Mercer. 6-1, power result to center. It goes up to 11. That's a 6. That'll be a double to center field. And let's see if Buckner can score to win it and walk it off. Buckner runs at a 3. Double to center, you lose 1, makes him a 2. And then Geronimo's a -1 arm, makes him a 1. So the only way he scores is on a 1. He does not. He's got to hold at third. So now second and third, nobody out. Infield is in. I guess outfield is in. Everybody's in. And the pitcher, or the pinch hitter, Mick Kelleher, is your batter. I don't know, Brian B., do you want to do an intentional walk to set up a force at any base, or do you want to play infield in and just pitch to Kelleher? On deck is Trio. Pitch to him. All right, infield is in. Nothing on the strategy. Eastwick, 4-5. That is a blank to a right-handed hitter. Would have been a walk plus to a lefty. Kelleher, 5-1, ground ball to second. Buckner with the infield in, he drops to a run rating of 1. So he can score on a 1 or a 6, but I think it's better to hold him there. And there's one away. There's more opportunities. So 1 down, and here's Manny Trio in the same boat. Unless you want to walk Trio and get to Ontiveros and set up a double play, that's up to you if you want to do that, or we just pitch to Trio. Trio's 280, Ontiveros is 299. Trio righty, Ontiveros a switch. So we're going to have an intentional walk to Trio to set up a double play or a force at the plate. Double play rating on Ontiveros, though, is only a 2. So you were changing pitchers, okay? Who are we changing to Murray? Is Murray a good double play arm? Yes, he is. He's a +1 on the double play. But we are getting close to Murray's spot, and he is the last available relief pitcher. So are we doing like a double switch with Dreesen, maybe putting somebody else at first base, maybe putting Bailey or Lum at first base, maybe? Oh, Eastwick is tired now. Okay. Yeah, he certainly is. He can only face 6, and he went to 7. You are correct. Are we doing double switch because Murray's coming up 4th in the inning? Could double switch and put Lum at first base if you want. Bailey at first base, okay? We're going to put Bob Bailey. And this is why we love not having the DH, folks. If you have the DH, you can't do any of this strategy. So it takes it way out of the game. So Bailey will come in and play first base. He is a 2 and a 14. And coming up in the pitchers, in the Dreesen spot, is going to be Murray. Dale Murray. So Murray it is. Dreesen will exit the game. And Murray will be facing Ontiveros with the bases loaded and 1 out. Brian B., I'm assuming, are you playing back for a double? I think with the +1 with Murray, I think you're going to play for the double play, if I understand this correctly, because you get 3, you get 1 to 4 would be a double play. So I'm assuming we're going to do that. All right, so Murray facing Ontiveros. Strategy rolls obviously are on. Murray to Ontiveros playing for the double play. 6-3, and that's a strikeout chance. 16, though, is too high. So we go to Ontiveros. 4-3 is a ground ball to short. We're going to try for that double play. If they don't get it, the game's over. 2-3. Ground ball infield halfway is a 4. Pivot at second. Morgan's a +1's a 5. So anything other than a 6, and we're going to the 13th inning. If it's a 6, the game's over. It's a double play. It's going to go 6-4-3. Double play. And we're going to the 13th inning. Brian B. coaxes his team further. Jim Todd will come in for the Cubs. He's the last of the Mohicans. It's Jim Todd or nobody. So Jim Todd, a right-hander, and not a very good right-hander. Jim Todd. He's got a 9.10 earned run average. Does not bode well for him. And he'll be facing bench Concepcion, Geronimo, if anybody gets on Bailey. The Cubs put all their chips on Suter. He did give him 2 shutout innings, but they put a pinch hitter in for him, trying to win the game here in the 12th, and it just didn't work out for him. So now you won't see strategy like this on that other channel, I can tell you that, Brian B. You've got that absolutely correct. Move the ballpark card, kind of border it right here so you can see it, but it frees up the inning here. So here's Johnny Bench against Jim Todd. 4-1, range play at the park. So first things first, got to bring in Wrigley Field for a range play. 1-3 is a single to first base, but we're checking the range of Buckner. His range, though, is only a 1. So the worst possible place for this to be hit was to Buckner, and he is, in fact, a 1 on his range. Last time, though, he made the play. Let's see what happens this time. He does not. Is it a single or a double? It is going to be a double down the line. Double down the line. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was a single originally, so it will not be a double. It'll just be a single. My bad. Even the ballpark card, it was an S3, so you don't get the extra base because of that. So Bench is aboard, and here comes Concepcion. He is a 3 bunter. I don't know if you want to bunt Brian B or just have Concepcion swing away. It's up to you. You can make that decision. No bunt. All right. So Todd to Concepcion. Infield looking for the double play. 6-3 is a straight up S1. We'll see how far Bench can get on an S1. To get from first to third, you need a 4 to get from first to third. Bench is only a 2, so he has to stop at second base. But first and second, nobody out for Geronimo. Now, do we bunt with Geronimo? He's a 4. Infield is expecting it. We'd actually drop him to a 3 if you wanted to bunt. For Cesar Geronimo. Bailey is on deck. Bailey is a 247 hitter. No bunt. All right. Todd. 6-6. That's a hit by pitch. And he will be plunked because he's a 7 plus a 10. So that's a hit by pitch. And that's going to load the bases with nobody out for Bob Bailey. Infield's going to have to come in. They have no choice for the Cubbies. No need to roll a strategy roll because there's no balks or pickoffs and nobody's stealing home. So Todd to Bailey, 4-4. That's a possible error on a throw. Go to Bailey. 2-4. That's a ground ball to short. That's a 5. So DeJesus will boot it on a throw. The throw would be going home because they were playing infield in. Brian B, you can correct me on my rules here in case I'm wrong. But with the bases loaded, infield in, going for the throw at the plate, it's an error on a throw, and a 5 means that DeJesus commits the error. So he's throwing home. So Swisher would be the receiver. Swisher is a 4. See if his ball gets by him. It does not. So to me, it's a 1-base error. Everybody's safe. Everybody moves up a base. So it's going to be a E6. E6 on DeJesus. Scoring is Bench. Everybody else moves up a base. Base is still loaded with nobody out for Ray Knight. And we're in the same situation. Infield is in. Trying to get that force at the plate. Reds now lead it 8-7. Todd, 6-1, strikeout 7, got him. 1 out. Now a double play would get you out of the inning, but they're going to play in. They don't trust that. -1 does not look good, and Griffey's not a big double play guy. So they're playing in. 4-6 is a blank. Go to Griffey. 6-5, that's a single to left field. Scoring is Concepcion. Left fielder arm is Cardinal. He's a +1. Geronimo. Let's see. Geronimo runs at a 3 with 2 outs to be. No, there's only 1 out. My bad. There's only 1 out. So with 1 out, he stays a 3. The +1 arm makes him a 4. and a single scoring on a single to left, you add 1, makes him a 5. So 1 to 5, and he will score. And he does. So it's a 2-run single. 2-run single off the bat of Griffey. Bailey will stop at second base. But it's now a 3-run lead for the Reds as Jim Todd is not able to get it done. Infield looking for the double play now. Strategy rolls are back off. 2-4 is a strikeout chance. 12 is too high. Go to Morgan. 6-3, fly to left. That's 2 away. And here's George Foster. 1-1, strikeout 11, too high. Go to Foster. 4-2, double to left field for Foster. That's probably the coup de grace right there. That will score Bailey from second. And Griffey runs at a 3. 2 outs, it becomes a 4, but a double to left brings it back to a 3. But the +1 from Cardinal is a 4. 1 to 4, he will score. And he does. So it's a 2-run double from Foster. And now the Reds have exploded for 5 runs here in the 13th inning against the pitiful Jim Todd. And Jim Todd is now tired, but he's the only pitcher they got left, so they have no choice. 4-4, that is a possible error on a throw. To the bench. I'm sorry, no, with the pitcher card, we got Murray here. My bad, Murray is batting. So we got to pull out the pitcher hitting card. My bad. Hold on, hold the phone. Pitcher batting card. Because Murray is actually batting. All right, let's try again. 2-4, and that's a strikeout chance. 8 got him. All right, so that's going to end the inning. But 5 runs in the 13th for the Reds pretty much seal the fate of the Cubbies for Jim Todd. Todd will go 1 inning, give up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. One of these runs is unearned. Actually, 2 of the runs are unearned, the way I figured. So I've got 5 runs, 3 earned. And he walked. Nobody did hit a batter, and he struck out 1, but he will end up taking the loss for sure. The win's going to end up going to Murray, most likely. Forgot to write him in earlier. All right, so Murray. So let's see. Murray's only faced 1 batter. I forgot to total up Eastwick. He went 1 1/3. And he struck out 1, walked 1. Gave up no runs and 2 hits. All right, so now Murray will be facing Swisher, Wallace, and DeJesus for the Cubs. Dale Murray. He can face 7 batters. He's only faced 1, so he's definitely not tired. So, bottom of the 13th. It is now a 12-7 game. I don't see 5 runs in the 13th for the Cubs. I'm sorry. 4-1, he's not tired. We go to Swisher. 6-2, it's a single to third. So maybe I spoke too soon. Hope not. I don't need to have another 3 or 4 innings here. Here's Wallace. 6-5 range play. 6-3, it's a star 6 ground ball to second. Morgan is only a 2, but playing halfway would make him a 1. And he makes it anyway. How about that? He gets to it. Is it a double play? 2 + 1's a 3. Halfway is a 4. Pivoted short. Concepcion's a +1. So 1 to 5, it turns into a double play. Wow. Went from a potential hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Put the kibosh on that in a hurry. Now here's DeJesus' last chance for the Cubbies. 1-4 is a strikeout, 17 too much. DeJesus 4-5, and that is a power result to left field. It goes to 11. That's a 3. It'll be a double for DeJesus. And that brings up Cardinal. Now, how big was that play by Morgan? 1-2 ballpark card going to Wrigley Field. 3-6. That's a home run to the pole side. Cardinal is only a 3. That's a 16, so he will just hit a deep fly to left, and there's your ball game. The Reds outlast the Cubs 12-7. That's the only adjective I can come up with is outlasting. So they outlast the Cubs by the score of 12-7. The winning pitcher is actually Murray, and the losing pitcher is Todd. Murray's going to go an inning and 2/3. Going to give up 2 hits and no runs. No walks, no strikeouts. So for Cincinnati, they managed 15 hits to go with their 12 runs. No errors. The Cubs made 1 error, which was big in this 13th inning. Cubs get 17 hits for the Cubs. So the Reds scattered the Cubs' hits with 17. And this one belongs to the Reds, as Mr. Brian B. would say. It was a double clutch in the 9th because we thought the game was over there, but didn't realize they had tied the game. But they won it anyway to improve to win 12-7. They improved the record to 7-6. This one ought to be fun, put in the Strat computer. And the Cubs dropped to 6-5. Next game on the inside pitch front will be north of the border. It will be the San Francisco Giants taking on the Montreal Expos. It'll be Jim Barr for the Giants and Don Stanhouse, Stan the Man Unusual, for the Expos. That'll be next time. So thank you all for hanging with me in those couple of circles in the sand I had to deal with and reboot. Been an hour and 40-something minutes when you count the delays. So thank you all for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Inside Pitch. And Reds win the ball game, hang with it and win the ball game. Not sure who the player of the game would be. I mean, Buckner did really well, but it's on a losing cause. He was 4 for 6. Foster hit the 3-run homer. Also had a single and a double. Could give it to Foster. Foster is probably the guy. If I had to pick somebody, and Brian B. can pick someone else if he likes, but to me it's Foster. Foster hit the 3-run homer that gave him the lead originally, and he also hit the 2-run double to give an extra 2 runs in the 13th inning. So it does, Brian B. I think it does because of the cards and the coloring and the bigger print and all that stuff. Yep, George Foster, your player of the game. So the Reds win. This one belongs to the Reds. Cubs fans go away disappointed. And that's just how things are. But the next inside pitch game we're getting set up on the clipboard will be the Expos and the Giants from Montreal. But the next video is most likely going to be Boston, California, and Stratomatic. Might be tonight, might be tomorrow. I'll try to see if I can get one in tonight, possibly. Depends on how I'm feeling and what's going on. But we shall see. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have a wonderful Thursday wherever you are. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play. However you choose to play it, I will see you all down the road.